Kalokagathia, the beautiful and the good. Isaiah 61:3, and provide for those who grieve in Zion, and bestow on them a crown of beauty instead of ashes, oil of joy instead of mourning, garland of praise instead of spirit of despair. They will be called oaks of righteousness, planted for the splendor, for the display, planted of the Lord, for the display of his splendor. In our enthusiasm to make everyone comfortable at church, to fill the pews, we have departed from both goodness and the fruits of goodness, period. Um, about 10 years ago, before I knew a certain woman that changed my life around, uh, LC, that's her initials. She's married now. Um, I did not believe Christian women to be attractive. I thought they were all, for the most part, women in the church who had a hard lifestyle or who were overweight or ugly in some manner and found church as either a cope for the bad decisions they made or to find a husband or plain or didn't care about their looks. I have seen two good looking women since I've been at church and since I've grown up in church. Um, so I was under the um, illusion, I guess, or had bad evidence towards the concept or the connection between beauty and goodness. And seeing how everyone drumbeat in my head, that's the inner part that counts. That's the inner person that counts. That you shouldn't look at the outer expression of the body. That doesn't matter. Nothing in the body matters. It's all dying away. We're all dying. We're all going to be with Jesus. We're all going to die tomorrow. The rapture is happening any time now. Tomorrow, the horns of the revelations are going to start sounding to next month. Nothing counts for anything. Nothing. No beauty counts for anything. Even though I read the book of Genesis and beauty is throughout that, even though you read the Song of Solomon and beauty is throughout that, even though you read Isaiah and beauty is throughout that, even though you understand biology and secondary sexual characteristics are what attracts not only males and females of the human variety, but of animals. There is no functional purpose behind the peacock's large display of feathers or a dozen other creatures' secondary display of sexual characteristics. It does not aid in their reproductive ability nor ability to get resources. And yet, hammered in my head, what you want does not matter. But attraction is not a matter of choice. It is above our thoughts. Attraction, we cannot decide what we are attracted to. It is hardwired in us. Beauty is better than ugliness. Being fit is better than being fat or too skinny. Um, last 2 works ago, I discussed danger and faith. And as a side note, like why are so many women attracted to Machine Gun Kelly or Pete Davidson, even though they're skinny? Um, I'm not some roid head, but my wrists are larger than their biceps. I could just pull them apart if I wanted to. But seeing how they're so close to danger, um, it gives a reinforcement to women. This man is walking in a path of much more masculinity than someone who has much more self discipline and has much more fruits of that self discipline. That's not a side. Um, Women's instincts are non negotiable. Women's instincts are pure because they have no self awareness. Um, they will lie, but their actions betray them. So you look at what they do, not what they say. Um, Beauty, handsomeness, secondary characteristics of um, the Greeks have the thought of having a large chest because that is between your logical brain and your desire. It gives you the courage because you can have an idea of what you want. You can have a desire for what you want, but you need the courage to go out and get it. Um, and so Nietzsche and the Greeks said the men of last generation, the end of men are men without chests. They're flat chested, they're just sunken in chests because they don't have any courage to get what they want. And therefore they will never push forward their lines. And there is a question within Christianity how everything is pivoted upon the book of Revelation, whether we have just accepted all dying and not pushing forward the line. How we've kind of given this away to the world. Um, the girl I loved at one time was extraordinarily beautiful. And there was another girl who was also beautiful. I'll create little pictures of them on the side. Um, for the Greeks, you could not be good and weak at the same time. Now, of course, there was the leopard, there was the person who had no strength in their legs, um, and it's not a pure, it's not clean, okay? We can't kick someone out of church because they have a weakness in them. In the assembly, however, they would kick someone out whose genitals were crushed or severed. They could not give praise, not in the temple itself, but even in the assembly itself. Now, assemblies were across all of Israel, so that was as much of a sin as being a Moabite or anything else. But you could be grafted in, but it'd take to the 8th generation before you were recognized. David was 8th generation. King David was 8th generation. These things build upon themselves, these concepts. The Greeks weren't totally off, though it could be seen that the Greeks' understanding, Nietzsche's understanding, did lead to fascism. Every time you think about one's breeding, it seems to lead itself to racism almost. It shouldn't be looked at that. Eugenics, it shouldn't be looked at that. it's not a we can't have this whole concept right now where good men are forced to raise the bastard children of dangerous men who don't stick around. Because that's where we are right now. It is a um, is a cockle-tree of economic of a different variety on a mass scale, and it is a kind of genocide um, paid for by the people who are having a genocide placed upon them. Now, genes aren't everything, as one sees when a adopted child has the same cancer as um, their parents. Um, However, these things build upon themselves and create incentives. Um, it is our job to look at things clearly. This is Morgan McGee, Greatest Reward. These concepts build upon themselves. I hope you guys have a discussion.